So let's see. My next topic here. Are you ready for your first year of retirement? And this is kind of that big thing is that retirement's coming up. Do you just step right off into retirement? I think not. Sometimes it's forced upon you, and it could be your company transitioned you out, the company closed, or you just had enough. Sometimes those things can abruptly happen. But I think you should be, whatever that window is, I believe there's some 5 year window that you should start having a conversation. Even if you think you're short, you should start having that conversation. Are you ready for your first year of retirement? Uh, Let me make sure I've got the article here. And this is a MoneyWise article. Let's see, do I have, I always like to give credits where I kind of gather information. And gosh, I don't see an actual author listed here, but it's a MoneyWise article that was put out in April of this year. But 5 things you might not see coming, but you definitely need to be ready for. You prepare for retirement your whole life, maybe as far back as your teenage years and your first paycheck. We should all be that fortunate, right? That we started planning that far back. And if you did, you're in great shape because you've created some compounding over the years. But according to an April 2025 study by Northwestern Mutual, Americans believe they need around 1.26 million for a comfortable retirement. While this figure is 200,000 less than what was reported last year, 25% of Americans say they have 1 year or less worth of income in retirement savings. Yikes. Even with decades of planning and saving, surprises are likely to come your way that first year of retirement. Here's 5 strategies for retirees. Uh, First is get ready for an adjustment period. Even if you have a smart plan for retirement, there's still an adjustment period where leaving the labor force means far less money coming in than more going out. Let's face it, pre-retirement habits and assumptions can be difficult to change. One of the things is kind of start doing a test. If you know your income's going to be going down in a few years because transition to retirement while working, can you run a test there, start living within those means? Can you kind of make sure you make those changes? Make sure you look over your budget before you retire, not after. Remember, in one of our exploratory visits, say that first visit, that's kind of what we're looking for. Do you know what your monthly expenses are? Do you know how much you have coming in every month? That'll probably be a homework piece that you'll be asked to do for visit 2 or in between visit. Crunching these numbers might feel overwhelming, especially if it looks like you're going to have to make some big changes to your lifestyle. And I know this is kind of something that could cause people to stop, not want to do it, or kind of like, oh, I don't want to deal with that. I'm afraid of what I might find out. Do the things you fear. The death of fear is certain. Take that step anyhow. Even if you don't want to know that, take that step. So crunching these numbers, once again, might feel overwhelming, especially if you're going to have to make some big changes. So it's a smart idea to sit down with a financial advisor and start looking at your situation. It's good to start having those conversations because you can have those over a period of time. Retirement's 5 years out, 8 years out, 10 years out, or 2 years out. But you need to start having those conversations. Even if I've had this, I don't ever plan to retire. I had somebody tell me that years ago, and they came in and but wanted to start having a conversation about investing and how things look. And a few weeks later, the person called me back and said, you know, Gregory, maybe in 7 years, think about it, that. And I said, you know, actually, I've already ahead of you. I started looking at those options for you, and even a shorter period. In the reality, that person that was never planning to retire, that then asked to think about 7 years out, actually retired 4 years later. So it's important to take stock of where you're at. Make sure your loved ones are protected. No one ever feels ready to start thinking about life insurance, but the truth is, the younger you are when you purchase a policy, the lower your premiums will be. Life insurance can be used by your loved ones to make up for lost income, pay outstanding debts, cover unexpected expenses, and pay for funeral costs. I think this is important to think along that process, because whether you've not reached retirement, or you're in your 30s, or you're close to retirement, or you've just gotten into retirement, what if a death occurs? What are the impacts of that? You might not think about that, but we're thinking about that. Next is have a Social Security strategy. If you take your Social Security starting at 62, you're going to miss out on additional funds you'd reap at a later retirement age, according to the Social Security Administration. If you wait to 66, Social Security calculates that you'd receive $1,000 instead of $750. Further, you could receive delayed retirement credit should you wait until full retirement age, which stops when you reach 70. This needs to be done planning. This is for a household. How do I equate it? I think for both of you, the value of that decision and income, it's $1 million decision. That's the value of that decision. It's that big. And should you just do it on the fly, go online and search and use an online you need to be talking about an advisor that talks with your entire plan. It's a giant decision. Next, that's important, is prioritize your expenses. You want to travel? Could be expensive. You got to factor in food, lodging, flights, frequency of trips. You want to renovate your home or buy a seaside getaway. Sometimes that discussion is, I want to get a motorhome in retirement. I don't know. I'm telling you, I don't buy into that. That's not necessarily my thing. But it falls in there with somebody doing traveling and going to Europe and all. Those are expensive. Well, having a motorhome's expensive. So you need to look at these things that you're wanting to do and how does that factor in to retirement and what are those costs. And at some point, you want to unwind those retirement decisions, or that second home, or that lake home, or that vacation spot you're buying into to go to every year. So what is your exit from doing that? What is your cost of getting in? What are you budgeting that in? Is that going to hurt retirement as well? And I always kind of go to younger Gregory wouldn't have thought that. Gregory now thinks about things from the foreseeable future, but 10 years from now, 15 years from now, I'm going to think about things differently than what I would do now, or wonder why I did that. Glad I can unwind it, or why didn't I do that? So that's what we got to be and have discussions thinking about that going forward. And the last thought I've got here is keep adding to your savings. Once it's time to retire, many folks throw their savings plan out the window of the cruise ship or dream home. That's the wrong way to go. Saving not offers a buffer, but also a means to make even more aspirations possible. You shouldn't, here's the ultimate, is your savings and wealth continues to grow through retirement. That'd be the ultimate. Is that possible that you can save money? If you deplete emergency savings, can you build it back up? As an instance. So you look at retirement income that you've transitioned to, can a portion of that be set aside for savings. I would not give up that savings thinking in retirement. We would like that to keep going as well. Hopefully that helps you a great deal, and we'll put that article up on the website at gregoryricks.com on the website.